Good evening. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Creations by Julie. I am Julie. Ed's behind the camera to catch any of your questions tonight. We both need to pull you up. Make sure Facebook has us live.
Yeah, you do.
So let me pull mine up so that maybe...
There, but... Yep, there it is. Maria Francisco's here.
Okay. Hi, Maria. Thank you for joining. I think my sound is turned down. Yep. Okay. So we're good. When you hop on, let us know you're here and that everything is working okay. Facebook sometimes gets really crazy and they'll interrupt broadcast, or the sound will mess up or something. You know, if you have any problems, go out and then come back in. If that doesn't fix it, you know, everything's good on our end. Hi, Ann. No, sometimes he's not good at all.
Carrie Marie said hello, Julie.
Hi, Carrie. Thank you for being here. Tonight we're going to do what everybody's calling, I think, the yarn wreath. I've not done one before, so this will be a first for me. Very easy, very simple, and hopefully mine will work out okay. I kind of put my own...
Thank you for the sprinkles.
Thank y'all for sharing. Appreciate that. Okay, so the first thing we want to talk about is our thank you gift for this week. If y'all were with me Monday, I showed you these Magnolia Designs transfers. And we used the wheelbarrow, and then we used this one right here. So that's what I am giving this week. Your mystery word is hashtag transfer. So you will get this transfer. I will cut it in half so I can put it in a smaller box. And you're also getting one of these boards, just this little small board. I have the one I made. I have in my windowsill above my sink. You can prop it up anywhere. It's got a little thing you could hang it somewhere. And you can do both sides if you want to. You can paint it. You can do whatever you want to with it. Monday, you'll notice I just used the wood, and I think the transfers turned out really pretty on just the wood. But that's what our thank you gift is, and I want to do something every week because just to let y'all know how much I appreciate you and you spending a little bit of time with me every week. So hashtag transfer. Now, that would be for the live Monday and the live tonight. If you didn't see the live Monday, go back and watch the replay and just put in hashtag transfer. I will go next Monday and pull all the names, put them in a bag, our blessing bag, and we'll draw from it Monday night. So if you're watching the replay, that you're still eligible for our thank you gift for this week. So y'all know me, and anytime I do a wreath that is just the same thing over and over and over, I try to have it 3/4 done. So I have one that I worked on, and I actually started on it Tuesday because I didn't know how long it was going to take. Well, it didn't take very long at all. Very simple to do this, and I'll get you started and tell you, what I did, what I used, and how I'm going to put my own little spin on it. Now, the instructions I'm going to give you and how much you need is for a 14-inch wireframe from the Dollar Tree. Y'all, really and truly, Ed needs to be in front of the camera, not behind the camera. I think he tries to be funny. I don't know if he wants to throw my mind off. Okay, so I'm going to use the 14-inch. You'll need about 5 feet of ribbon. I used a 1.5 inch. Just about everybody I have seen has used the 1.5 inch, but you could use the 2.5 inch. It would just make it a little bit thicker, but I think it would be fine. But I had this 50-yard roll of this black and white, and y'all know me and my black and white. But I'll tell you there's a method to my madness. Now, I couldn't find any black, really thick yarn, so I bought this yarn at Hobby Lobby, And it worked fine. If your yarn is really thick, you wouldn't need as much of it probably. What I got was the Yarn Bee, and I was going to tell you, it's called Uber Luxe. And the only thing about it, y'all, it's really, really soft, and it keeps trying to come apart where it's kind of braided. And I got, like, my nose started itching, so it kind of sent pieces. So use whatever kind of yarn you can find. This is not as thick as a lot of people are using, but it worked just fine.
Kathy Keller says, my friends always call when you go live. I watch replay.
Okay, Kathy, that's fine. I'm just thankful Facebook still allows us to post our videos and have the replay never be taken off, so that's good. So anyway, that's the yarn I'm using. And I would say it took about half of the skein. Would you quit? One of these days, I'm going to figure out how to flip the camera, and y'all are going to see him.
Marie said, finally got you shared to MGC too.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Lorraine Lipinski says, hello from New York.
Hi, Lorraine. I'm going to show you how to get it started, and then we're going to use the other. And, you know, this yarn can be a mess.
Thank you for the sprinkles.
Yeah, thank y'all. Thank you, Lorraine. I took and made me a ball, about half of it. And I think it's going to be plenty. But like I said, you would need about 5 foot of ribbon. And that's easier if you go ahead and cut it. But I'm not going to do this whole wreath, so I'm not going to cut that much ribbon. I'm just going to cut maybe 2 foot, just show you how to get going. Don't like to waste ribbon. Although I might make another one of these, who knows. It was very fast. So cut your 5 foot of 1.5 inch ribbon, whatever you want to use. Get your yarn. Start at one of the crossbars across here. And you're going to basically use these middle two for your ribbon. But I started by just taking my yarn. And like I said, y'all, this is thin yarn. And I just tied it in a knot. You could zip tie it if you want to, but you're not going to see this. And like I said, my yarn actually, and I'll show you how I kept it from doing, coming apart. It wants to come undone. I could put a little bit of glue there if I wanted to, but oh well, not going to. So I just cut that off. So that's how I started. It's just on the wire, tie a knot, okay? Then you're going to take your yarn, come down. Then you're going to take your yarn and you're going to wrap it 4 times. Now, try to keep the tension on your wrap about the same, and it's up to you as to how tight you want to do it and how thick your yarn is.
Lorraine Rapinski said that didn't look like 5 foot of ribbon.
Oh, this is not, because I'm just showing you how to get started. I've got one over here 3/4 made. This is only like 2 foot because I just want to show you to get started. Okay, so just wrap it around. So that's 1, 2, and I put my finger here and kind of hold it so that my tension kind of stays the same. You just have to decide what you want for your tension. This is not bad because your frame is kind of black and my yarn is black, but if you're using white, you do not want to see your frame. So you're wrapping all 4 rings. So this is 3.
Sorry for the mispronunciation.
And this is 4. Okay. Now, you've got your 4 lines here. Take your ribbon and just kind of lay it across these 4 to get started, okay? I've left a little bit hanging over here. Just lay it across. Then you're going to wrap it twice over your ribbon and over your frame. So you've got 4 under, 2 over. Does that make sense? And like I said, you decide on your tension just once you get what you're going to do, try to keep it the same. Push them down a little bit. All right, now you're going to take all your ribbon and fold it. That's why I didn't cut 5 foot. Push it back, because now you're going to go under your ribbon 4 times. And that's why you don't want the whole skein. You just want a ball of it. So that's 1.
Brenda Bracken says good evening.
2. Hi, Brenda. 3. 4. Okay. And like I said, I took my finger and I hold it right there so it doesn't come loose. Put your ribbon back. Don't pull it loose. Just put it back. Okay, now you're going to go 2 over the ribbon. And, you know, you'll kind of have to twist your ribbon a little bit because we are working in a circle. So I'm going to do 1, 2. Take my ribbon, fold it back, do 1, 2, 3. See how I'm taking my finger and putting here so my tension kind of stays the same. 4. So you've got 4 under the ribbon. Put the ribbon back down, kind of work it as you go, and then put 2 over the ribbon. 1,
Judy Crafton says hello, Julie. 2.
Hey, Judy. Try, as you're doing it, kind of make sure you have about the same. Does that make sense? And see, on the other side, you don't see any ribbon. It's just soft, and it's the yarn. It looks harder than it is because, I mean, if you can count 4, you can do it. Ribbon back. 1, 2, 3, 4. The ribbon back down. Then I'm going to go 2. 1, 2. Now, if you need to put something on that to kind of, and then I'm just going to kind of, you don't want your ribbon buckling, so you're going to kind of have to work, see how it wants to go straight, but you're going to kind of keep turning it so that it stays on those 2 wires. Does that make sense? So have I got you so far? You might go in a little bit closer. Any questions on how to wrap the frame? Basically, I mean, that was the, that's the whole thing. Okay, Judy said yes, makes sense. Okay, so you've got 4 under. Don't have to take my shoes off to count. Okay, Barbara Rosecrans says no. Do you not understand, Barbara? Or was that no to another question? You've got 4, wrap the frame, 4, lay the ribbon on top just to get started. Wrap 2 over your ribbon, push your ribbon back, do 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2. Okay, so like I'm right here now, I've just put 2 over. I'm going to fold my ribbon back. I've seen a lot of people doing these, and like I said, my yarn.
She said yes, I understand.
Let's see, Brenda says you can wrap the whole wreath, then cut 3-inch ribbon enough to go around the wreath. Then put ribbon in 2, then count. Ooh. That's 2, 3. So what you're talking about, Brenda, is you actually would weave the ribbon. I don't know, this is super simple, especially when you know how long to cut the ribbon. So I'm laying my ribbon back, and I'm going to go 1, 2. Okay. You want to kind of look at it and kind of make sure that your spacing is kind of the same. Okay? All right, if you understand how to do it, let me show you and tell you my idea for this particular wreath. Like I said, I've got 1 3/4 of the way done. Oops. Hang on, my yarn caught on my sign. There's a rough place on the sign.
Lorraine. But I can't.
Okay, just say Lorraine.
Lorraine.
Yeah, she did hers this way. Yeah, Brenda, I love the black, and y'all know I love black and white check. All right, so this is what I've got done so far. I've just got one little section here to do. This is where I started on this side.
Barbara said she had a question. A lot of people are making these, but I haven't seen or heard anyone sell them.
I don't know. I'm going to tell you that's one reason I'm going to do mine the way I'm going to do it. A lot of people are making them just in the colors and then putting a big bow on it. But I have this sign that says thankful and blessed. When I get mine made, my idea is I'm going to put the sign behind it to where it can be removed, and you use it like this for Thanksgiving, take the sign off, and use it the rest of the year.
Miss Lorraine said they're big sellers.
Well, that's good. This is the first one I've made. And you can see when I stopped the other day, I put a clip on here so I didn't lose my tension.
Brenda says that's gorgeous.
And this, I actually did 5 and maybe 3 inches. You want to do a little bit more. You'd hate to run out of ribbon. So I did like 5 and 3 inches or something like that. And it looks like it's going to be more than enough. And I just took about, I didn't measure it, but it was probably about a half. Because I'm telling you, at one point, I was trying to do the whole roll of yarn thing, and it was a mess. Because this is, like I said, real thin yarn. Not as thin as your regular yarn. It's called deluxe, but I thought it was, thicker. But I didn't have any thicker. Okay, so I'm at the point that I just did 2 over. So I'm going to take that loose, and I'm going to take my ribbon. Let me make sure this is, my yarn's trying to separate. I'm going to take my ribbon, because see, you can roll your ribbon up. Lay it over, and then I'm going to go to, it got to the point, can you see how my ribbon's trying to come undone?
So this wants to know what the size on your sign is.
I think it's a 12-inch, because it more than covers, the underneath. I'm pretty sure it's from Personalize It by Pam. I'm pretty sure it's a 12-inch, but it's all I had. A smaller one, probably 10-inch would have been perfect, but I didn't have a 10-inch like that. So I'm doing 1, 2. I put my finger there while I pick up my yarn. 3, 4. I'm just hoping I end up at the right place here. We'll see. And then I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to go 1, 2. And then I'm going to kind of straighten my ribbon, check my spacing, put your ribbon back on this side and go underneath it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And see, if your yarn was thicker, it would make the outside thicker, it'd make the inside thicker. But it's just up to you. This thinner yarn is fine. So I'm going to go 1,
I actually like that really.
2. You say that like you don't like anything I do. You're like, I actually like that. All right, so then back over, and I'm going 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to have more than, I think it was about half of the yarn.
And Travis says hardworking mom has nice signs too.
Yeah, I've never ordered any from her. I have so many signs now that I need to use what I've got. But everybody just keeps coming out with these cute signs. All right, now I'm going to go 2, 1, 2. And if this doesn't match up perfectly, this is going to be the top of my wreath anyway. So I'm going to do
Brenda says I love this.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's stop, because that would be over there. So they kind of, I don't think I have room. Let me see. 1,
Unique
2.
is watching.
Hi, Lori. I guess it's Lori. Okay. So like I said, this is going to be my top anyway. So I am going to cut my ribbon right there. Actually, I'm going to come over a little bit so that I can glue it kind of up and underneath here. So it didn't take 5 foot.
Brenda Bracken said stick a bow in there, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
But if you cut each ribbon at 3 inches, it works out perfectly.
So then you just thread it through? All right, so really and truly, I only used probably about 3.5, 3. But that's okay, we'll use that on the bow. And see, I've got this much from maybe a half a thing of yarn. But I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this and try to like put it up and under here. And I probably should have cut it a little bit. I probably should have cut it just a little bit shorter, but that's fine. My bow's going to go right here at the top anyway. All right, so now I'm going to turn it over. And you'll see, other than my gray hair, and this yarn really, I mean, you see how the pieces, I won't be buying any more of this. This may be deluxe yarn, but it feels like a cat fur. Anyway, I'm going to cut it back here. And then I'm just going to kind of take it under here and loop it around and tie it back. That's one thing about you can hide some things. Because I'll be putting something to hang it with too. So I'm basically just going to tie it so it won't come unraveled. You could put a little glue. Then before I make I'm going to put the sign on before I make the bow. And I'll tell you how I'm going to manage all that. Okay. Okay. So that just hides in there. Okay, so you've got nothing back here but softness. Okay, here's where I'm going to put the bow, and this is going to be the top of my wreath. So I'm going to put the sign, and I know, you know, the sign, a lot of the edge is covered, but I didn't have one smaller. So I just want to make sure, and Ed took and punched 4 little holes in it, and I'm just going to attach it with pipe cleaners that can be taken off really easy. So that's my top. So I'm going to take black pipe cleaners. Probably shouldn't cut them with my scissors. But I'm going to run it through these little holes. And boy, that hole looks really small, Ed.
Did I make it through
I
the
could,
end?
I thought, yeah, no, it went through. I better go ahead and put the others too. I could use wire, but the pipe cleaner will just blend in with the back. And see, after the holidays, they can take this middle out and use the wreath all year round. It's just black and white check. Okay. So let me go back and make sure I've got my sign straight. There's my top. There's the top of my sign. So I'm just going to take this pipe cleaner and push the yarn apart, because I'm going to have a hanger up here too. And then I'm going to bring it back. Boy, those are some little holes. And I don't know how, I'm not going to do it real tight right now because I want to do down here. Look at my fingerprints. Okay, the only thing about doing one like this, you don't want a lot of your plaid showing down here. So you're going to have to kind of try to balance it. As to how tight you put it, because I want about the same amount of plaid showing. And of course these pipe cleaners catch. I could use zip ties.
Brenda, one more time where you got the sign.
Personalize it by Pam. I'm not sure I bought it this year. All right, let me look. All right, I still have too much showing at the bottom and not enough at the top. Once you get the top and the bottom, the sides should be fine. So then I need this one a little tighter down here. And I'll make it easy for them to take off the sign. Okay, that's better. Look at all the fuzz. Woo! All right, now let's do the sides. And it's very simple to move that yarn. And attach the sign.
Brenda said she loves it.
And I'll go back and, cut these off. I want them to be able to see them and find them and just clip. Okay, I still have a little bit more. I think if I tighten this, then we're good. Okay, I'll go ahead and tighten these. That's pretty good.
Miss Lorraine says I see a lot of people use chunky yarn.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought since this, I think, well, I bought it at Hobby Lobby and they didn't have the black in anything any thicker, so. But this worked. It just is, it gets in your nose. I need to take something and clean off the, I will do that. Whew. And of course I will put my thing over. That feels like glue. I'm sure I had something on my hands when I touched it. I'll put my tag over that. All right, so that's what we've got so far. Okay, let me just fold these down. Now we're going to make a bow. The one thing about the bow, if you don't have a sign in it, you really need tails. But I don't want tails much with a sign in it. So what I'm going to do is attach a bow, and then when I sell it, I will send extra ribbon for when they take the sign off, and all they would have to do is, double the ribbon and put it through there, and they could have some tails. So let's make a bow for it. Of course, we're going to use the same ribbon so that it all just flows. But I'm going to do, Lisa Kellum has a bow that she calls the Lisa bow. And I was going to get one, hand me like that big clip over there. If you can't hold everything in your hand, I'll show you an easy way to do it. No, the one that's on, that's good. That's fine. Okay, so the bow I'm going to make, and I got to figure out how big I want it, is going to have quite a few tails, nothing hanging down. But I don't want a huge bow. So my loops, I'm going to make the bottom ones about 5 inches, okay? So you just kind of get it started, and you're going to have 2 loops on one side. It's a lopsided bow. Like 2 loops on one side, 1 on the other. I'll show you in a minute. So I'm just going to, this ribbon, it doesn't really matter which way it goes. But you want to make sure you twist your ribbon to keep the side. Okay, so I'm going to cut this. So what I have, it's almost like a person. Like this is the top, this is the arms, and these are his legs. You've got 2 loops on one side and 1 loop on the other. Okay? And it's going to give you more tails around it. Now, if you needed to take a clip, you could just take something like this and clip that together. Okay? Then I'm going to come and do the same thing, but I would put, like, you'd turn it around. So I'm going to make the loops just a tad smaller. Not a whole lot, just a tad. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put 2 loops on one side and 1 on the other. I think it's called the Lisa bow, after Lisa Kellum. Okay, so I've got 2 loops here, and then I want 2 tails and a loop on this end. Now when you go to put them together, you're not going to put your 2 loops with your 2 loops. You're going to turn it, put your 2 loops where you had 1 loop. So now you've got 3 loops on each side and 2 tails on each side. Okay? Now, if you can hold it in your hand, that's great. If you can't, clamp it. Use a, my mind just went blank. It's not the Pro Bow, the hand. What's the name of the other bow maker? Easy Bow Maker, to slide them down in. Use the bow dabber to slide them down in. Most of the time, I just hold it in my hand. Okay, so now I'm going to do the 3rd time and go even a little smaller. And in your sections, all 3 loops are the same size, but you go down a little bit each time. All right, so now this time I'm going to go to where there was 1 loop. See, we had 2 loops, 1 loop, so I'm going to turn it this way and add it. Does that make sense? You alternate, you go backwards and forwards. Now,
Brenda wants to know how much you're selling it for.
Oh, I don't have a clue yet, Brenda. I'll have to let you know. I'm not sure. I mean, it won't be a whole lot because you don't have a whole lot in it. The most expensive thing, I'm sure, was the sign, and I just need to look that up. All right, I'm trying to figure out if that's going to be, I think that's going to be big enough. I don't know. Let's see. Let me put a clip on this. I don't want to lose all my things, and maybe do 1 more smaller.
Brenda says, please let me know.
I will, Brenda. I mean, my guess is probably about 39. It won't be a lot. Okay. So I started with, like, what did I say, 5-inch loops, and I ended with 3. Okay, that was 2, so I'm going to put, I mean, that was 1 with 2 sides, so I'm going to put this one right here. Okay. And, you know, I didn't cut my tails because I don't know how long I want them. Now you're just going to take your pipe cleaner, put it in half. You know, wouldn't it be cute? I think I have some little bitty, like, is that leopard print? Cheetah print. Some little pumpkins, but then they couldn't use the bow for year-round, so that would be cute to put a cheetah pumpkin in the middle. When you do a bow, always twist the bow itself, not your pipe cleaners. And of course, you know, I don't cut, I don't do a whole lot of fluffing until I get it on the wreath. So then you're just gonna find your middle, and you're just gonna, let's see, how low do I want to go? I want to try to put it on that frame, like one piece of the pipe cleaner on one side of that frame and the other. If you needed to poke a hole in that ribbon, you could, but I'm just feeling and kind of going under the ribbon. And make sure I get one on one side of that frame and one on the other, and my pipe cleaner is trying to stick. This is where I need my little needle thing, because you know this yarn grabs everything, and I don't want to get my sign confused. Y'all hang on. Sometimes it's little things like this that takes longer than making the wreath. All right, there's one of them. It's hitting that. I think the end of my pipe cleaner has a sharp edge and it's catching in my yarn.
Cut it off.
Well,
And Travis says, I'm going to try that bow method.
it's very easy, and you just go down.
Miss Lorraine says it's so pretty.
Okay, let's see.
I'm not going to try to say her last name. I butchered it.
And if you think you need to come down with it, you can, but I'm going to tighten it here. I don't want to get it mixed up with my sign.
Carrie Marie says, yes, attachments do take longer to add.
Yeah. Okay, and I'll fix all those on the back later. So now I'm going to take it, and y'all know if I was just making this, it would be hanging in my utility room so that I'm not looking at it upside down, crossways. I just don't want a lot of tails. But do you see, if the sign's not here, you want to fix it to where, like, your customer can come in and just come up in under here and add a couple of tails. Because if you don't have that sign, you need something else besides just the bow. All right, so I'm going to turn it around and start cutting off some of these and dovetailing
Judy
them.
Grafton says, it looks beautiful. I have to head out. I hope I don't lose you in transit.
Well, thank you for stopping by, Judy. We appreciate it. Yeah, black and white is definitely one of my favorites.
Brenda Bracken says, Ed, make her a wooden wreath stand.
Yeah, then I'd want to be on the other side of it.
Hey, she hangs so much stuff in that utility room, she wouldn't know how to act with an easel or a stand.
I'm just not used to making wreaths sitting down at the table. All right, I'm going to go around. I don't want any very long. Make sure I get all my little...
Brenda says, I love mine. Wreath stand.
And one reason I don't dove mine to start with is because I don't know for sure how long I want them. You know, some of them I might want longer, some of them I want shorter. It just kind of depends on where it falls. This is a good ribbon. It's like a canvas. It's got a good feel to it.
Miss Rosecrans says, that's very pretty.
Okay, now I will put a hanger on the back and hang it up and then figure out if everything's the way I like it, the way I want it. The bow may be sitting up too high. I just need to look at it. If it is, I just move it down, but you get the idea. And that was my thought on how they can have a holiday sign for, you know, Thanksgiving and stuff, and then just take the sign off and have a pretty wreath. But, I mean, very quick. I think it turned out really pretty.
And Travis says, I'm going to use this method for my Christmas wreath.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what I want to do is I have a whole box of the candy canes from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to do a candy cane like this with white and red ribbon. I think that will be gorgeous too. But yeah, I actually thought about doing the cheetah print. I have some ribbon, but it's got a little more yellow to it than this. But I love black and white check, and you know, it's very country. It's got a very country feel to it when you take that sign out. And then you still have a good back here. I will go through and tighten these and cut these, and that's my ribbon one, and I'll fix it. But you could easily just send some ribbon, you know, when I sell it, and tell them to take the sign off and maybe give them to where they would have 4 tails, and all they'd have to do is, you could even put a pipe cleaner on it for them, and they just put it up and under there, and then the tails would come down. So, but you don't want the tails down when you've got the sign, because you paid more for the sign than anything, and you don't want to cover it up. Okay, so that was our yarn wreath for tonight. Very quick, very easy, and you can do it with any color combination. But the main thing I'd say is, you know, kind of try to keep your sections pretty close to the same side. And it wasn't hard to keep the ribbon going in a circle. So, all right, y'all. I appreciate you spending a little bit of your time this evening with me. I won't take a whole lot. Let's see, Monday. I forgot what I was going to do, but I think I'm going to make a Halloween. I don't decorate for Halloween, and I don't usually have too many Halloween things in my store. But right now, I don't think I have but one thing, like a witch hat. So I do need to make at least 2 Halloween wreaths. So we're going to make one Monday. And don't forget, Monday we'll be drawing for our blessing gift, which will be the transfers and the board. And your mystery word is transfer. So put in hashtag transfer. Monday I'll go through and pull out all the names, and we'll draw Monday night. So I will see y'all Monday at 6 o'clock. Have a great weekend. I hope you stay dry and safe. I will see y'all Monday, 6 o'clock. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye.